5 to 6 months from now in a general elections to elect various political office bearers. So far, the opposition is said to be in a disorganized state, with the former ruling party, the Patriotic Front, also having been divided in various factions. The PF from 2021, after the loss of the general election, has failed to elect its party president until later on President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the late, decided to come back to active politics in a way to consolidate the former ruling party. After the demise of President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the PF again has gone back to its internal wrangles. Up to date, the party is still struggling to find which leader is going to usher them into office, if at all that is visible, come August this year. However, one of the presidential candidates in Borokoso Member of Parliament, Honorable Brian Mundubile, seemed to have taken a different route by setting a trajectory of going into the Tonse Alliance, and he was elected as a presidential candidate in preparations for the general elections come this year. Joining me on set is one politician who is known for much of the controversies around after having resigned from the United Party for National Development, UPND, 6 months after forming government in 2021. His name is Pumulo Zulu. He joins me coming from Eastern Province under the BM8 campaign team. Mr. Pumulo, welcome and good evening to you.
Mulipo. After a long time.
After a long time, indeed.
Yeah, it has been long since we met at Movie TV. At that time, when I was expelled as Information and Publicity Secretary for United Party National Development, UPND. At that time, when I raised a number of issues against President Hakainde Hichilema, of which they said I used a wrong platform, but channels were supposed to be followed at that time. IP, as you know, timakamba mchinyanja kuti player oziwo sowera mpira sama sowa team. A player who knows how to play football, he doesn't become loose, or maybe you don't need to struggle to find a team. Here I am now. I am still Pumulo Zulu when I was expelled from UPND. As it stands now, I am full supporter and full-time campaigning for Brian Mundubile as presidential candidate for come 13th August 2026 elections. The reason is very simple. When I was expelled in UPND at that time, I saw a number of issues. 6 months prior to after elections, 6 months after elections, tax holiday, economy, up to date, IP. Do you know that bread in Lundas, we are buying it at 30 kwacha? As it stands now, we are buying bread at 30 kwacha. As it stands now, the issue which I raised, the Lundas Chipata Road.
Hold on there. You are saying bread is being bought at how much?
30 kwacha.
A loaf of bread?
Yes.
It's being fetched at how much?
30 kwacha, and a bottle of salad, 48 kwacha, 50 kwacha, and 45 kwacha. But if you look at the areas, Lundazi, Rumezi, Chasefu, that's where agriculture is the backbone of this country. We produce a lot, sunflower, maize. But if you go into a shop, even there's a production of milk there. Milk is still at 320, 330 in Lundas, where we produce maize. As it stands now in Lundas, fertilizer, 1,040 kwacha. When PF was in government, 4 years, fertilizer was at 500. As UPND, President Hakainde Hichilema promised that since Eastern Province is hub of agriculture, we will buy fertilizer at 250 kwacha. Up to date, there is no that fertilizer at 250 kwacha. So these are some of the issues I criticize. As we go on, the people to appreciate this is a good government. This is a well-meaning president. Up to date, it has not yet fulfilled. But suffice to say, at that time they said, mwatamangira pumulo, mwakamba msanga. There is need time frame. Bwana, boma, yamene tizwaise, boma, yamene izuo sevenza, is within 90 days. If you fail to implement within that 90 days, automatically you are gone. Chimozi ni panyumba. Bwana, 1 year, pum. Banja siwo na mimba. 2, 3 years. Automatically you have failed. Kapezeka kuti mkaza na mimba, basaka mpakuta nakubalira ni mwana. So, if you look at this government under President Hakainde Hichilema, it's like another mboma as an emergency. They didn't think that they will come into government. They were not prepared. Kushtua sukunya bwana kuti bwana dinwa president tu. Dinwa president. How do you have a president sitting in president up to date? State House is just a working place. He's not in the State House. So if you look at it, an emergency president...
You're saying that the UPND got into power by accident?
Yes, it's by accident. It's an emergency government. It's by accident. They didn't know that they will come into power. They were not prepared. And the real UPND, I don't think if it is the real UPND which is working now. Because if you look, even ministers themselves, they don't know what they are doing. That's why I said, when at that time, when I was raising those issues, the president should learn to reduce in his talkings. Automatically, the speech that the president will air it becomes a policy. But at that time, do you know what we concentrated? The corruption, what? You know, we won government, UPND won through vote sympathy, 2021. People knew that PF was corrupt. There was too much cadalism. So many issues. Agriculture, PF failed because we said fertilizer needs to become as low as 250 than depending on farmer input support program. But when we came into government, the story changed. We formed so many cooperatives in the form of we are going to empower them. But in actual sense, those cooperatives ran into the farmer input support program. Do you hear the story now on the ground? People are sharing fertilizers into medans. Who has caused that? Because of timing. So these are the issues. That's why I'm saying, as it is now, it's like Tirugundu Zaguti UPND came into government as an accident government. You know, look at the beginning itself. When President Hakainde Hichilema was declared as a president. If you can replay the tape very well at Hero Stadium, when President Lungu was handing over power to President Hakainde Hichilema, who received those powers? Who received that briefcase which contains powers? So now, you wonder and asking yourself, did this president came accidentally? Bwana ndino president tu. Ona niziko rudandaura. Why? Because now, for me, I'm wondering, by the virtue of not receiving that briefcase, a bodyguard who received that briefcase, automatically it shows that the president came into government by accident. He doesn't know if he is in government. That's why at that time I criticized a lot. The reason is very simple, because me, I don't want to become Achiseka Pachimera. Do you know what it means, Achiseka Pachimera? You know, kwa mene kwa pikidwa mwa olwapeza baya kuba. You just praise for anything. Bwana, you are a good person. What? You don't praise for nothing, but tell the person if this is wrong, this is wrong. This is right, this is right. That's why I refuse to become a praise singer just for nothing. Because some of the UPND supporters nowadays, if you can see them, they are just praising from nothing. That's why you find that at the turn of the event, they are the same people crying today that I think we are not going anywhere. That's why I'm saying, as an accident government, we expected it to change. That time when I was advising them, in Itumbuka we say, kauzganga nifuti chara, kweni nifuti ntiringanenge. An advisor is not a witch. The witch is the one who wants to be equal. So, how I wish now, as it stands, Zambian people have learned a lesson, and Zambian people, they have opened their eyes. Me as Pumulo Zulu, I campaigned so much for President Hakainde Hichilema. Today, I want to apologize to Zambians. I want to apologize. I think for the best way, what I can say, moderator, let me Zambians, kwa mene muli kuniona uko, I'm apologizing to you. We misled you. We said fertilizer will be at $250, dollar will be at single digit. Zindu zizasika tikrukire ni Mazambians. I'm here to beg you, segukani menso, langanani bomai yatikanga. Moderator, if you look at this government, an accident government, I call it an accident government. A failing government as of now, you would have not chased people in Kikonge mine, where people are suffering northwestern. People right now, kuti muwafunsa president you, Kalikiriki, he was passing, taking kapamera ka unga na salad. Today, can he pass Baulen or Kalikiriki? The answer is no. Because themselves underground, they know that they have failed. It's a failed government.
Mr. Pumulo, first of all, like you mentioned, and that you were part of the UPND crusade. You were among the people that worked with the UPND for so many years.
Yes.
You were pushing, advocating to form, to go into government. UPND, mind you, stayed in the opposition for over 20 years. You know, having been formed in 1988, they're about 89. Now, my question is, how possible that the party which overstayed in the opposition can now be called an accidental ruling party? Are you trying to be mischievous? Are you being fair?
Moderator, when you are taking government, you should work different from what the previous government did. Nizakamba mchinyanja. Uyu mkazi noipa, sasunga bwino family yako chimuna. You chase that woman. Tomorrow you marry another woman. If that new woman comes in, doesn't perform to what expectation of that family they are expecting to, do you think chikwati chizakalapa? The answer is no. Chimene chizapangisa ma Zambians nchakuti so. Mwana ukangotamangisa mai wake kubweresa mai wina. Ngati breakfast anali kudia 05. Akumpasa breakfast at 11 hours. Azagamba kuti koma mai akadakalipo nikanadia breakfast at 05. There was cadalism at that time. Do you know that this time there's too much cadalism? They have moved away from markets. Very few have remained in markets, but they have gone into offices. These offices, bwana, it is occupied of too much cadalism. People are just not speaking out because of cyber, of what? Because as we are talking as of now, why people are not coming out? The rules that we have put in under UPND. How do you expect to know that people are saying this? When wafianti wa office, they can't speak out. Just 2 days ago, I was interacting with one of the people in Mambwe district, one of the civil servants. Akuti bwana, surely, wanganikire salary 700 kwacha. Is it not a mockery? Yes. It's up to you to say as a civil servant, 700 kwacha. You calculate how much fuel and how much money is being used to take President Hakainde Hichilema to New Kasama and work to State House Monday up to Friday. To from. Then you can give a civil servant 700 kwacha. Do we think for that civil servant, and that 700 kwacha bwana, there is too much taxation? That is pure mockery. As I'm speaking bwana, as of now, these schools, they have been told to do food program. You give them maize, you give them just beans in these day schools. mapoto azachosa kuti grant mwapasa 40 pin kapena 50 pin. Maybe that school holds about 700 or 600 pupils. They have removed the basic schools. There is already a scramble for grade 8s because there are shortages of basic schools. You have put only secondary schools. What's the essence of that? So that's what I'm saying. This government is just an accident government. You come to corruption. Corruption is just being fought to the other side. But inside the government, one, Bomairi, there is too much corruption, more than the PF government. If we are talking of no PF and Congo, those were perceptions that we were campaigning at that time. But we have overborrowed what the PF borrowed. If you look at the index, Bwana, we refer CDF, a game changer CDF. I don't see any game changer. Let me borrow the words which Honorable Runda's MP said. CDF is a scam. Yes, it's a scam because but you can tell me the change that you have seen in CDF. You put in, I will refer this here because the Kamba Zambians, we forget fast. 2026, there is 40 million allocation to CDF. Do you know what has happened? 10 million should come back to central government to buy solars in these constituencies. Where will be the single source income from? If we get that 10 million, the constituency remains 30 million. Is that 40 million have you provided to the constituency? The answer is no. And you get 10 million per constituency, that is 156 constituencies. And the procurement should be done at one place. Now, where will corruption starts? We are talking of ambulances. You have seen yourself that they haven't delivered the ambulances according. So that's why some of the things, when we are talking and we were campaigning, it's totally different. That's why I'm saying this government is just an accidental government. Because it is opposite to what we promised the Zambian people, that we are going to carry the Zambian people from Egypt to Canaan. And instead of going to Canaan, we are going to Zambia's river.
Right. So I would want us to go back to the archives so that people can understand who Pumulo is. You were a part of the UPND family, and later on you resigned, or rather you were expelled from the UPND after you criticized the UPND at the time. So let's just go back to the archives and watch this video, and later on I'll engage in my guest for a conversation.
Drama has ensued in the United Party for National Development, UPND, in Lundazi district of Eastern Province. This was after Lundazi district UPND Information and Publicity Secretary in charge of mobilization, Pumulo Zulu, held a press briefing and advised President Hakainde Hichilema on various issues he felt the government and the party are not doing enough.
This is the truth which is being obtained on the grassroots level. Mr. President, 9 months in government, we were ushered in by the people of Zambia that life should come to change. But we realizing ourselves that nothing is changing, Mr. President. One, the cost of living is very high for a poor Zambian. Mr. President, we removed the subsidy to a poor marginal Zambians. Rumor has it that there is tax holiday in these big mining industries in the copper belt. How do you give tax holiday to mining industries? The foreign mining industries. Meaning by 2026 we will lose a lot of $1 billion going outside the country without thinking for a poor Zambian to give them subsidy.
But this did not sit well with the party leadership in the district. On Monday, May 23, 2022, Lundazi District UPND Vice Chairperson in charge of administration and discipline, Blessings Banda, appeared in a video where he suspended Pumulo Zulu with immediate effect.
As a person in charge of administration, I therefore suspend Mr. Pumulo Zulu with immediate effect, and he has to exculpate within 7 days before the disciplinary committee for further action, for further stern action which will follow. failure to which I think he won't be surprised what will come. I have suspended him according to the constitution. We suspended him with immediate effect within 7 days in which to exculpate, and he has to appear before the disciplinary committee Tuesday, meaning tomorrow.
But in a turn of events, Pumulo Zulu has rubbished this suspension, calling it as illegal as it has not been done according to Article 70 of the party constitution.
I've seen and watched the video that is circulating on social media where my district vice chairman for administration, Mr. Blessings Banda, has verbally suspended me. And I am here to inform the nation and the party members at large that the said suspension is illegal, as it from the video circulating, it seems our district vice chairman has suspended me in his personal capacity because he has used the word I. I need to understand. I am surprised to use the word I. So his entire speech, through his entire speech, he has used the word I. So I'm asking myself whether, number one, this was a collective decision from the party or not. Number two, did we follow party constitution in suspending me? Number three, what does Article 70 of UPND manifesto states? Number four, did I appear before disciplinary committee to exculpate myself? Number five, what are the charges given to me? Where is the letter of suspension and minutes to assign that I appeared before? They have continued disowning me that I'm not a member of UPND. Why suspending me?
For now, the drama continues as Pumulo Zulu is scheduled to appear before the disciplinary committee tomorrow, Tuesday, May 24th, 2022.
My guest on the program, on the Big Hour program, is Mr. Pumulo Zulu, who is part of the BM8 campaign team in Eastern Province. Of course, he is a former member of the UPND, who was IPS in Lundazi district in that regards. He resigned 6 months after the UPND formed government. That video is courtesy of Movie TV. That's a video there. And some people mocked you that it was too early for you to resign, or rather to criticize the UPND and President Hakainde at a time. You were accused that you had been bought at that particular moment. Were you bought when you were speaking to those things? Were you angered? Were you upset?
Moderator,
or do you regret to those sentiments?
And Wandali, we don't want to face the reality. We don't want to face the truth. You know, if you look at the video itself, how I was suspended and expelled from the party, definitely. Even you look at the vice chairperson administration, he was in the garden. That's what I'm saying. These guys, we entered into this government accidentally. Look what the district vice chairperson administration, the way he suspended me, he was in a garden, just from the dream. Look what the changes that they've made, for example, in Eastern Province, in UPND, starting at provincial level. Oh, it's drama. That's why the party now is finished. They're not going anywhere.
The party is not finished. The party is not finished.
No, the party is finished. I can tell you, UPND moderator, now if you go background, the party is finished. Don't get this perception where they are winning by-elections. I participated in one of the by-elections under Tonsa Alliance in Rumezi constituency. I was the election agent for Goodson Banda. They are just using vote buying. If you can ask any journalist who has eyes, any Mtolangani moderator, have you seen the presidential advisor for politics, Rev Ngoma, to campaign a by-election in town, here in Chawama? The answer is no. Why? Because they can't manage to do vote buying. They are going into rural areas where they can charter 4 choppers. And if you look at the Electoral Commission of Zambia itself...
Levy was campaigning in Chawama. During the Chawama by-election, Levy Ngoma went to campaign.
He campaigned there for how many days? But in Lumez, he campaigned for, he camped for how many months? That's where you should differentiate. You know, in politics, moderator, in politics, 4 choppers were in Lumez. And if you look at Lumez by-election, there were so many Kafafa. Up to date, ECZ has failed even to give a report how they failed, they made mistake for the first ballot papers, which they failed to print. A surname was missing. Then we went ahead with an election, reprinting another set of ballot papers within 24 hours. How possible is that? How possible is that? Bwana, there is no proper transparency in this ECZ which we have. Previously, ECZ Commissioner McDonald Spence, when he was here, he was advocating for free and fair elections. For me, I don't see any free and fair. I've tested for Lumez by-election. You cannot reprint ballot papers within 24 hours. How possible is that? And OECZ team was in Lumez, intimidating. So some of the things, the party Bwana is finished. What is remaining for the opposition is how do we put voter protection? I think you have seen the Mingala to which they are talking about, which they want to pray. Intimidating opposition, intimidating Aranse. That's what I'm saying. The UPND, Bwana, as it stands now, per town, even Kururu, the party is finished. It's just vote buying, which they use. Ukusoba ntibalulira kwamene banapromisa milis na milu kwa Kazembe kachunga inirumezi. That's what I'm saying. A good government would have been appreciated by this time now. Would have not seen any opposition. But look at it. Confusion in PF. Who brought that confusion? Although we can say no, UPND doesn't. But how legitimate that PF it is in the hands of Chavinga? How did Mao Sampa got Patriotic Front by organizing a dubious convention? And how is an opposition leader is elected in parliament? All those we don't respect law. We don't respect the rule of the people. We don't respect Zambians. So as it stands now, moderator, to finish my point, Zambians are just quiet and waiting for the day. Because otherwise the situation which they are going in, civil service, public service, including an ordinary Zambians, they are not happy at all with the UPND government, the way they are running this, the affairs of the country.
Their leaders in Eastern Province, I'll give an example of some members of parliament coming from the opposition, these are informed men and women, you know, not only Eastern Province, but I'll single out some members of parliament who have come out in open and they're saying the UPND has done far much better than the PF and other leaders. You've got, for example, I think Andrew Busha, where you are coming from in Eastern Province. He says President Akende Chema is a right person to go with come August elections. Where does it put you?
Moderator,
the critics.
Mukafu Sarusha, road yachipata rundas. Moyone wapita yo, ipita pachipangali paja. Does that road has a tarmac? The answer is no. You know, there are some of the leaders where they protect their personal interest without looking for an ordinary marginal Zambian who is suffering from Chipangali. Bwana moderator, if we can go today in Chipangali and sit with a real ordinary Zambian, I think these MPs whom we have seen going to UPND, they are not fair enough by cheating Easterners that UPND is doing well. That is cheating. That is cheating. The same Andrew Rusha was provincial chairman for Eastern Province. They made Edgar Lungu to lose election in Eastern Province badly by cheating him that the ground is fertile for you. The same Andrew Rusha was provincial chairperson for PF. He made a lot of candidates under Patriotic Front in Eastern Province. who was in that seat at that time. He brought in confusion. So sometimes when you are doing things and praising things from nothing, I think it's very unfair killing the ordinary Easterner who is suffering in the village. So the same Andrew Ruwusha, who was a provincial chairman at that time, the party was divided into 3 groups. Let's take the 2021 elections, how Ed Garungu lost. HH 49%, Ed Garungu 51%. Most of the constituencies, like Chasef, we closed the gap, Vubu, Chaviza, Ed Garungu lost badly. By then, who was the provincial chairperson? Andrew Ruwusha. Meaning he failed to deliver the results for President Ed Garungu. Today you are claiming and cheating President Hakainde Hichilema, the grassroots is okay. That's a lie, Modari. That's a lie. If I can meet President Hakainde Hichilema, be careful with those people who have personal interest to earn something from the UPND. You have impressed them to be front runners in the UPND, whilst they are misleading you that Eastern Province things are okay. The party, President Hakainde Hichilema in Eastern Province is finished. Listen to them. I'm telling you, if you don't work on these MPs who are just praise singers, automatically you are finished. You are going out from the government.
There are quite a number, not only Honorable Wisha, who was endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema for election come this year. You can talk about Mishek Nyambosa, an independent member of parliament with his independent minds. He is also going with HH. You can talk about Elas Daka from that Endi Msanzala MP. He also tells you that Jonathan Daka, all those individuals, they have endorsed President Hakainde Hichilema. You can also bring in Mungandu, Debson. They're quite a number.
Endorsement model.
And these people are coming from your area.
Endorsement is not an election. I will endorse, yeah. I will endorse, yeah. Have you heard them joining UPND? The answer is no. They haven't joined UPND. You should ask them, why are you failing to resign and join UPND? You are just endorsing President Hakainde Hichilema. Why also are you failing to resign and join the UPND if the UPND is really working on the ground? So these are some of the questions also. How I wish those journalists who are meeting with these candidates, they should ask them, why, as much as they are appreciating that they are endorsing President Hakainde Hichilema, that he has done something good in Eastern Province, they should also ask, why are you failing to resign and join the UPND? They know that it's just their personal gain. Personal gain, moderate. Sometimes we must learn and appreciate. Do you know these people who have been mentioned, they have benefited from President Ed Garungu, the late President Ed Garungu. Sometimes also in human nature, we must appreciate and not betray somebody who has spoon-fed you from the grassroots and where you are. The structures under PF today, moderator, they are crying because of the same people they benefited and they ran away and jumped into another camp. Today people are suffering because of the same people in Eastern Province. The structures, they came out from benefiting nothing. If you look at them, so how I feel that sometimes in politics, remove your personal gain, also think of other people. If UPND, I know UPND will be kicked out on 13th August. If UPND is kicked out on 13th August...
You speak like you're a prophet.
No, I'm not a prophet. I'm speaking, me, I'm on the ground.
You speak like you are God.
Moderator, me, I'm on the ground. I stay in Lundazi, I live in Lundazi, and I get information exactly what people are saying on the ground. Even in 2021, moderator, people are disputing against me that President Hakainde Hichilema will win 2021 elections. I said, if we do a road show, starting from Mambwe, Rundas, we are forefront escorting President Hakainde Hichilema. And I was the last person asking, what message do you have for the Eastern Province, Your Excellency, since you have gone around in Eastern Province? At Nyimba, go and ask him. I stood on his car. Brian Mwinga can be my witness. He promised a lot for the Eastern Province. When we escorted him, when we received him per airport, Parundas, I was in front. No one can cheat me. I know UPND better and how we won in Eastern Province. No one can cheat me. But the fact of the matter is, ngati chipani chalepera. And believe me, in Eastern Province, the 49% that they got, I think they will reach about 9% this time. Believe me, take me, we'll meet moderator kuti Nakuzanchan after 13th August. I'll come and testify that. Have you seen how he has lost? I'm staying with the people on the ground. I don't use Facebook myself just to be Facebooking. Like what people do. Politics one and per ground. And politics you hear from what people are saying. Let me tell you how politics it is, moderate. It is involved in 3 parts. Ground politics, media politics, and social media politics. I'll give a scenario example like KBN. KBN, you are doing media politics. You are live here and you'll be live on Facebook. You are getting information what is on the ground and information what people are saying via media. If you come to these pages, sorry to say, like Grindstone, the journalists who are those to my blogs too, they are just stationed in Lusaka. They visit areas when it is necessary for them to go there, but they don't know what is on the ground. So UPND has some pages. There is Watchdog, there is Crossway, and the people who are running those pages, we know them, some of them, but they don't know what is obtained on the ground. In a moderator, Ninkara per ground, Nichoka Kurundas, Ninkara Kurundas. I stay with the people on the ground, Kurundas. I stay with the people in Chasefu, Lumezi, including Mambo. I reach up to Chipata. I bought some taxis, even buses. I don't drive myself. But the information that I get, moderator, is from people that Bomai Yarepera, Yatirepera. Even
that's the information you've gathered on the ground.
Yes, even civil service moderator, Nangawanga Kambe. I'm telling you, the civil servants are bitter. Because of side below, that's why they can't speak. And if the nation becomes quiet, it is very dangerous. I'll give you election in Pompa Papa Malawi moderator. Do you know what happened? People said, no, MCP, with huge rallies, pretending Facebook what? But when I went to gender moderator, just asking 1 or 2 people, gender nearby Lundazi, what did they say? At Boma Niromwero, Irupita Ibom. Muntu akakuya moderator, he doesn't speak. Apasowa rupukuta ma voters card, waiting for the day.
In Zambia?
Yes. And this shocked MCP, losing with a big margin in Malawi. And this will happen here. Me, I have that belief and I know what is happening and what I have obtained on the ground. UPND is gone on 13th August.
UPND is gone on the 13th of August. The question is, who is coming? Because when you look at, when you skim through from the opposition as well, the opposition is in a confused state. He's in a dilemma as well. And a voter out there, a Zambian will be asking himself or herself that, look, there is no opposition. But this has also been recorded by those in government who have told you, who are criticizing the UPND government that has failed, it is going. So the question is, UPND is going, who is coming?
Moderator, in a democracy, expect fight. That's how democracy operates. Everyone wants to be a leader. And that leadership is being made by people. I thank God. If President Lungu was alive, would be a very happiest person that now we have seen a presidential candidate. I thank God for these Tonse Alliance opposition leaders, FDD and others, who sat and elected Brian Mundubile as presidential candidate for 2026. I'm very happy myself. You know, if you go moderator today, Chitungulu, Mwanya, Chivande, Chiveza, Kazembe, Lundazi, Mwase, if you ask about Brian Mundubile, it has become a household name. I'm receiving some phone calls, moderator, even from ruling party, UPND, they're afraid of Brian Mundubile. For me, how I wish, as it stands now, we have a presidential candidate. These others, Honorable Makebi Zulu, Given Luminda, if they don't make a decision to join Brian Mundubile, like the people they are going to work together before March, then they are finished. Do you know what people say? No. I think these guys are stubborn. Let's forget about them. We have a presidential candidate. And Tosi Alliance has put on the table that this is the presidential candidate. I'll take you back. As it is now, Honorable Brian Mundubile as presidential candidate, he has almost 40 sitting MPs behind him. Council chairpersons, councillors, structures. If you look at these other candidates, for example, Honorable Given Luminda, Honorable Makebi Zulu, if they really wanted to stand as candidates at that time when President Lungu was alive, they would have done so. Brian Mundubile did when Lungu was alive, but these two others, they didn't. When Mdolo, they didn't. How special today that also you want to become a presidential candidate in the name of being an angel to capitalize on the death of President Edgar Lungu? I feel sorry. I pray that God should enter Makebi Zulu to join the team. Him, when coming back to South Africa, he thought he will become an angel, that people will start praising him. But there are so many issues hanging around under the leadership of Makebi Zulu. Makebi Zulu is a very good leader. He is a very good sober lawyer. He should also understand there are so many issues hanging around him that he cannot make it to lead this nation.
Why and how? For the avoidance of being misunderstood.
He was provincial minister and member of parliament for Malambo. He lost. When he was a sitting provincial minister, simple parundas, he came with the President Lungu. Muazi baba, he was invisible to Easterners at that time when he was provincial minister. Brian Mundubile also was a provincial minister. Member of parliament from Procoso, he retained his seat. Leader of opposition, keeping MPs together, sacrificed, grabbing his position as leaders of opposition. How I wish if President Brian Mundubile wins this election, he should not sue the Zambians for dubiously scrapping his position as leader of opposition, because there's a price to pay. A leader of opposition, according to our constitution, is supposed to be elected amongst members of parliament. The top political party who has a lot of members of parliament through that political party. But he sacrificed. That's how a leader should be. Defending his fellow MPs, working with MPs. As we are speaking, as already alluded, MPs are with him, councillors, council chair. That's how the rise of Edgar Lungu did when President Sata died. Leaders have been raised by those who are with people. Lucas Mumba is coming from Nakondo district constituency and supporters. Honorable Stephen Kampiongo, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, Honorable Sopa Mkushi South, Honorable Jin Chisenga from Mambima constituency. Those people, they stay with the people. And if you look at a political party, when they lost in 2021 elections, who were funding the activities of the party in those constituencies? The same members of parliament. That's why these structures are paying allegiance to the members of parliament, and this is the leader whom we want, because we have worked with him so well. That's why he has taken a lead. Zambians now should forget that there are functions. Zambians should pray that God should enter these, they should enter their hearts to join Brian Mundubile and support him. I repeat, if Honorable Makebi Zulu, Honorable Given Luminda and others, you don't take decisive decision to join Honorable Brian Mundubile, as presidential candidate to support him, before March, you are finished. You are finished. You will get my words because Zambians have already decided. I meet with people, and people have always advised me. And Honorable Brian Mundubile is accommodating everyone. Let's also, those who are supporting Honorable Brian Mundubile, also accommodate everyone who were in other camps. Because the game is over. We have a presidential candidate. Why should we waste the time now? Now our time is to sell our candidate under Tonse Alliance.
Why do you press the experience of other presidential candidates? For example, when you look at, of course, we've talked about Makebi Zulu, who seem to be commanding the numbers as well.
Which numbers? Which numbers?
He's got a people.
Facebook numbers.
Which Facebook numbers? You can talk about the gurus, the political gurus that are in PF. Former ministers, quite a number of them.
He lost as member of parliament.
They are following Makebi Zulu, quite a number of them. When you go on the other side,
former DCs,
you realize that also there is Honorable Given Luinda, an experienced person who is also seem to be commanding the numbers. Where are you putting him? Someone is going to tell you that I think Given Luinda is the right person to lead the PF, or lead this country after HH.
How I didn't want to dwell much in this issue. I'll give you an example, like former DCs in Eastern Province. Former DC Mambwe. Do you know that PF lost badly there? Former DC Chadiza, former DC Carlo Petauke. So, Honorable Richard Msupa, he lost as member of parliament. So these others, when you are following, you should also look at your background. We lost. When you are following, look at your background. We lost. I lost as member of parliament. When I was DC, with all what I was given, President Lungu lost in my area. But these guys, they won an election. And they are supporting this candidate. I think the best way, let us support. I also go back to that constituency. I stand, then I receive support with the same guys. Maona mavuta mene maona kuno white namkana muvotereson. They win with massive votes, 100% vote. These are the issues which people don't realize. Bwana, today, if you go to Mambo, you talk of kuti mukapepe sekuti ona ni Makebi unaka na romba tawa bweres. Do you think PPS can win an election? As a loser. Why? Because first you need to go back where you came from. He lost as member of parliament. Take him to Mambwe and tell the people, then win there as member of parliament. Give him a minister or give him as running mate to consolidate to what the winning team is. Because Mundubile has a winning team. Those are sitting MPs. Those are sitting MPs with the people. That is winning team. With the structures. You can go to a constituency, you don't meet the structures. Then who is going to campaign for you? As I'm speaking moderator, people are fighting. Under tolerance for them to stand. Including in Mafinga, there are two candidates there battling out under Tonse Alliance, fighting to stand. Meaning the alliance now is growing more bigger. More bigger. I liked the way Honorable Kampamba Mlenga said. You see, there is no future on this side. Let's go with this one. He declared himself that Brian Mundubile is the sole presidential candidate. Let's support him. That's how it is. Because where she's coming, she's a member of parliament for Karurus. And she has structures there. So that's how it is. We want to consolidate everybody to come on board and work with Honorable Brian Mundubile and win this election. This happened in Malawi election recently. DPP, there was a squabbles. Napu unokoletu na moderator, these squabbles are too small. DPP going to nomination. Do you know people who defected and formed their political parties? Almost 9 of them. Inakondwa Nangumwa, Dalisoka Bampe went to UTM. Came before nomination. Do you know the people were saying? UTM is a strong political party. DPP is a strong political party. Can you unite? Dalisoka Bampe, come, sit. Be a running mate to Peter Mtari. No, he's too old. Mwakuti, he's too old. Okay, fine. The current speaker, Suleiman, even offered some of the position to go to this other side, that they should work as a team. Do you know what UTM did? They refused. The founders of UTM, Honorable Newton Kambala, they formed UTM with the South Stream, said, what we are doing is wrong. Let's work with the DPP. They all criticized against him. He just folded his hands. Some activists also called for these opposition leaders to work with the DPP. Only afford sacrifice. No, we work with the DPP. What happened? 18 political parties, but Peter Mutharika won with a big margin. He never wasted time to campaign because people said, we are tired to listening for unit, we just go with this candidate. If people, they have seen a direction, and the direction today, I'm telling you, moderator, is Brian Mundubile. We don't need to waste time. Now, how I'm praying Zambians, don't waste time to listen to others. You have seen direction, and what we are calling for Brian Mundubile is the presidential candidate under Tonse Alliance. Just support him and work with him. Those who are remaining behind, if they don't make a decision up to now, to reach up to March, they are finished politicians.
What do you make of the election which elected Honorable Brian Mundubile? Well, other people are saying that that convention or that election was illegal, which elected Honorable Brian Mundubile. I think you have seen quite a number of people have been regarded as former members.
There are few individuals, not most of them, they are calling it illegal.
They have been expelled.
And one of the leaders is Mao Sampa, who ran away from PF. Who ran away.
What do you mean?
And is forefront calling it as illegal. As illegal. How? How do you call something illegal? We were not there and part and parcel. You know, I like the SG, how he articulated about how Tonse Alliance was formed. You don't call some people who formed something as an illegal. How? Moderator, mwamanga nyumba ndimwe, then someone from somewhere he went and I saw no that this house is not yours. You were there when building that house. You should accept the principles and rules guided by the people who built that house. That panupanyumba marus tachinja breakfast zamba kudia 9 hours, lunch zamba kudia 14 hours. Abide to those rules. You were out of that house. You were not the one who built that house. You are sitting in another house now. They have built another house. Shift, just follow. Don't become a dreamer and a too much thinker that no, you lose nothing as a leader. You lose nothing. How my appeal is, join the winning team, the people, those who built that house. There are people who formed the Tonse Alliance, and they must be respected to what they are doing and what they are planning for. It's for you just come in and consolidate that house to be strong and more than strong, for you also to benefit. You know, some of the people sometimes, they don't feel for others. There are people who are incarcerated. There are people who are in diaspora, especially diaspora people, moderator. Let me take this opportunity. They speak too much, forgetting that they want freedom to come back to Zambia. And that freedom will come from where? The same Brian Mundubile. How do you speak too much? Writing stories, fake stories for what? For me, how I wish those people who are in diaspora should think themselves that if people work for us, we'll be free and we'll be back in Zambia. The cyber law sometimes will be removed. All those issues we are crying. You know, as it stands now, President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't know the position of the people because of cyber law, which we are talking about. A good leader must learn to be criticized, like what Manawasa did. Being criticized, na kumuleta satapa foot. I think I was finding difficult to work with this person. Now, we are together. One Sata said, let's help this man and work. This is the way how leadership it should be. Diaspora, please, preach unity, not division. Don't talk too much. You are there. You know, those guys who are in diaspora, they're not going to vote. It's us, Tiripa ground, it is a voter. preach unity, come together, support Honorable Brian Mundubile as a leader. Speak good to promote unity. Media forums, bloggers, you know, especially bloggers, you know, I cannot talk about media houses which are stationed, some workers have salaries, what, but bloggers. I know some of you, your aim of living is by writing those stories to misplace people and confuse people. How I wish those bloggers, you should know what you are going to achieve by the end of the day. Not to think of today, you get money, you pay rentals for your survival. That is not building. Think of today and tomorrow. What will be on the table for me? It's easy to destroy a name. You still remain in opposition. Bwana, if I speak, if we let this go, Brian Mundubile folded his hands not to stand. Or tundrama tuwamene wali nato wena mu diaspora, wamene wali mjera wanamangiwa, my families, they will suffer a lot. They will suffer. To that tundrama, they will suffer. This confirms to me that tachinja constitution. Tinachinja constitution. If we let this go, nanga 2090 amene were preaching our UPND, constitution will still come back to parliament and will cry more. Defend what is right for you. Defend what is right for you. Wachoka payunza wazi wako kulemba ma stories, thinking that politics in kulemba ma stories and Facebooking. No. Background, people have already decided Brian Mundubile as presidential candidate, they are going to vote for him. Come and consolidate. Not the politics up on Facebook where you are writing fake stories and stories that cannot build the nation. Those stories are destroying, especially bloggers. Preach unity. Diaspora, preach unity. As it stands now, moderator, things are okay for people to make a decision on 30th August. That is President Brian Mundubile to take over from this government which has failed us, which came in as an accidental government.
Where do you put in the efforts of other opposition political parties in Zambia beyond the Patriotic Front and Brian Mundubile, whom you have singled out as the man who means well, who has the numbers on the ground, according to you? Where do you put in the images of these other presidential candidates from the opposition?
Moderator, when multipartism came in 1991, we had elections, Chiluba won, and people made Chiluba from ZCTU. There were prominent people to take over. 1996 elections, when Adini Mwamba, 2001, which was more critical after Chiluba served 10 years, where he wanted to push for a third term. There were so many critics. We had political parties formed. Patriotic Front, ZRP under Ben Mwira, Forum for Democracy and Development under Christon Tembo. By then in Lusaka, Southern, and some parts of areas, Mazoka was popular. When UPND was formed in 1998, people said, I think enough is enough for third term. We'll go with Mazoka. But in rural areas, after hearing that Mwanawasa is standing, people said he's a lawyer. He's a good leader. We go with Mwanawasa. People called for these opposition political parties to unite. Christon Tembo became big-headed that he will manage to win an election. Ben Mwira, he had all resources. How many votes did he got? But a person, Anderson Mazoka, came in as a second from Mwanawasa. Tachoka, 2006. Mwanawasa is strong. How are we going to defeat him? An alliance was formed. PF, let's work together. But it failed. Only 3 political parties agreed. UPND, FDD, UNIP. going to convention under the United Democratic Alliance. What happened? Nawakwi wanted to stand. That President Hakainde has just come in 2005. He's not mature in politics, but he won. Nawakwi never campaigned for Hakainde. Mwanawasa won for a second time. 2008, the same. 2011 elections, it is also in public domain. The late President Michael Satami, he saw rest in peace, called President Hakainde Hichilema to work together for the unity of purpose. People called for unity. 9 minutes, we call it 9 minutes to the nominations. UPND pulled out from that alliance. People said, I think we have already decided. We'll go with SATA. And people said, if SATA wins, Hakainde will automatically become a vice president when they work together. And that was the agreement. But they pulled out from that alliance. Did it work? The answer is no. So alliances have been there, but at the end of the day, they fall. But when people decide, this is what I'm saying, people have already decided that we should go with Brian Mundubile and vote for him. For you, it's just to come in and consolidate. Simple and straightforward. That's why I'm saying, if they don't make any decision before March, then they are finished. They will be finished politicians. It's simple to come in and consolidate. When you fail to come in and consolidate, then it will be difficult for you. It will be difficult. You know, in election, it involves a lot. You need to look for candidates, councillors, council chairpersons, members of parliament, resources, and preparing. Already, this team has already started. Those are preparing. MPs are there, candidates are there. As I'm speaking now, moderator, I will attend the delimitation program in Eastern Province. Are they going to attend? The answer is no. I will go there under FDD to attend delimitation with an ID under FDD from Tosa Alliance. No two ways about it. Them they are going to attend as what? Because there is no PF. If you do that, it brings you to contempt of court. There is no PF. PF has not been on ballot paper. So the decision of Honorable Brian Mundubile to give us a direction, that was 100% collectively, and that was legal by Tosa Alliance. Everyone was there. They removed the PF as an anchor party because of confusion. It was too much. And me, I was one of the person who was advocating Tosa Alliance to come on board and do a convention and elect a presidential candidate and give us a direction. I was one of them last year. Because I saw this confusion. If we wait PF, they do convention, it will not take us anywhere. And PF is finished now. Ni semse moderator ukwela motoka yo poncha tuendo fika kuchipata. Motoka janyo poncha ija. PF niyo poncha. Ina poncha, inafera pachongwe. How do you bought motoka yo poncha tuendo fika kuchipata? Na nchwala simzaona kwa 29 in February. Mzamisa nchwala kai. They will fail even to go for nomination because of their wasting time. Come and join the winning team. Mukwela motoka yo poncha mini sizafika kunchwala pa 29. Mzasara kunchwala. They
have mentioned that over the month they will be going for a convention. You don't believe it?
Which convention? There is a court order to restrain them not to do that. Wazamangiwa. I tell you, Muzamangiwa. Charinga doesn't mess up. Muzamangiwa. Which convention? You know, some of the people who are misleading members, some of the people who are misleading, they have never stood even for councillor level. They are trying to attempt themselves to stand as members of parliament. They've never stood as councillor level. Then you call yourself as a national leader. Misleading people. Where? Muzamangiwa. Convention kulibe. There is no PF bwana. Ngani mkoti. Chalinga ndiye mwino wa PF is leader of opposition. Getting government allowances and other things given to him by government. Government is organizing Chalinga. Who else? Why should we waste time? Wanzano waenda kudara wakola moto kayo kute mkwela yo poncha. Ya fera pachongo ati noti zafika nayo. Oh. You are just wasting time. Those people are just misleading you. Imwe kururo area kwa ende muliri kani kukasama, kaya ni kusorowezi, kani kurundazi, kuchasefu. Basa kuna many boza ma structure. PF kulibe, inafa. Ngati mpanga meeting in the name of PF wazakumangani. Boma hizi wa Chavinga, wazakumangani. Chavinga fundi koziwa ngati mpanga meeting. Wazakumangani. This is what I can tell them. They should open up their eyes. Come to tolerance. We have a presidential candidate in the name of Brian Mundubile. Tieni tisenzere naye pamoja. Osa salira, osa kwera moto kayo ponche. This is what I can advise them, moderator.
Let's look at as we wind up, I think we spent about 10 minutes, then we close the program. Let's look at the current corruption fight in Zambia. I'll align this question with the current happenings, for example, where the son to the former head of state, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, he lost his properties. The reason being that he failed to justify how he acquired those properties. And the ACC, together with the state or Drug Enforcement Commission, they said, look, this young man, or the prosecutors, this young man has failed to justify how he acquired these properties, therefore we shall take over as a state. We're talking about over 70 properties which belonged to Daliso Lungu in that regards. What is your position? What is your comment over that?
Running a government, government is the final and finest answer. It needs maturity, integrity, and wisdom. Government is the final and finest answer. You know, moderator, if you hear the judgment, that was a gift given by his father. Just a title, president. Me, I'm Pumulo Zulu. I'm the last born son to late Chief Mhamba number 5. If my dad was alive today as Chief Mhamba number 5, you tell me I can fail to own a cow? You tell me I can fail to own a cow? Or just a chicken? Mantu wabwera kuona dad kuparas. No. Mambo takuletera nkoni nkukui janatenga. You feel me I can fail to own a chicken? I'm the last born to Chief Mhamba number 5. If my dad was alive, the title president. President. That's when you should know that anyone can. Ninga ende kuli Daliso adadiwa nuna president. Singa kumani konao umweko ka drink yake. President Hakainde Hichilema is in that seat. Title as president. Do you mean his children cannot own a car? Or just a Corolla? Or just a bicycle? I will not talk too much. I will leave this question to Zambians. I'm a head teacher at the school. Do you think mwana wanga sanga punzire pa school pa yani punzira ine? Ndine head teacher pa school pa. Do you think mwana wanga anga vutike school ko punzira? I'm a head teacher. I will leave that question to Zambians to judge themselves. Aliyense muntu ana mwana amarandira present, amarandira twasiana siana. It's very unfortunate. Zambians will think and judge themselves if it is wrong or it is good. Right. They will decide themselves.
As we face into the camera and say goodbye to the people who are watching this program and those from Eastern Province where you've come from. First of all, I need to appreciate you for coming from all the way from Eastern Province.
Moderator, in short, I will say that President Hakainde Hichilema running government is not easy. It's not easy. You have run your ball. Now it's time to prepare yourself. 13th August, you are leaving office. Thank you, moderator.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Pumulo. Appreciate you.
Have a good night and have a good February month. How I wish we meet in Chipata for Nchwara ceremony and celebrate with the Chief Mpezen and a lot of chiefs will be there, including so many businesses who will interact with the people there. And you hear yourself that Brian Mundubile is on the ground and President Ichirema is going on 30th August.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. You know better. All right, thank you so much. We end the program this evening. I've been speaking to Mr. Pumulo Zulu, who is one of the campaign team members under the Brian Mundubile team in Eastern